Good morning, folks. It is still morning. It's before 12. But I've been out here doing yard work since about 9. And of course, right when I'm ready to turn on the camera and talk to you guys, it gets windy. So I've got a lot to do today. A lot of just general farm maintenance chores, as well as tilling area next to the fruit trees so that I can plant a cover crop this year. But just a little maintenance stuff like flipping the compost and watering the trees because they do need water during the winter. But I'm gonna take you guys along with me because unfortunately I have chores to do and they need to get done today. I also need to make a video today. So I was gonna make one yesterday, but Chase had a jiu-jitsu tournament to compete in. So we had some fun and we went to that. Ooh, this wind is like blowing my camera around. So for those wondering, no, I have not filled the second garden bed yet. I do have the soil. We went to Home Depot and got the soil. I just haven't gone and done all the manure and the hay that I have to get. And I'm actually gonna get some leaves from the road, the dirt road that we have in front of our house, because there are several large cottonwood trees on the roadway that give copious amounts of leaves when the season is over. So I still need to go get those too. I wonder if I cup you guys with my hands like this, that the wind will be blocked. I don't know what to do. It'll be fine. The spring is super windy in our area, but I also have kind of a cheap camera, I guess. I don't have the option for an external mic, which I will gladly get when I can, but I told myself that I wasn't going to purchase another camera until I got 1,000 subscribers. So got a little while to go, but thank all of you that are already here for helping me along that journey. And if you know anyone that likes to garden, send them my way. All right, we'll just stay out of the wind here. As I was saying this morning, I got out here and I tilled in between the trees because I want to plant a cover crop slash vegetable crop in between the trees for 2 reasons. One, I don't have any more in-ground space in my garden to be planting rows and rows of things, and for this, in this case, I'm doing beans, the black-eyed peas or crowder peas or southern peas, seeds I saved last year, and I'm going to utilize them as a cover crop because they are legumes, and as long as I inoculate the seed before I plant them, they will fix nitrogen in the soil for me. But secondly, they produced really, really well without a shade cloth last year, and from just, I think it was 16 bush bean plants of this particular variety, I got probably about a full quart of black-eyed peas from them, and that was only 16 plants. So the potential there is huge. So I knew that I wanted to plant a cover crop, firstly because my trees did so poorly last year, and I'm not even sure if they're alive right now, but they did so poorly, and the soil is just really poor. I mean, I planted these potted trees, which I should have done bare root to begin with, but I planted these potted trees in just like crap sand, and they struggled the entire year. So I do want to make the soil better for any plant that I decide to put in there. But I also want the ability to provide food. So saving the seeds from last year was a great way of doing that so that I have tons. I think I have probably over 1,000 seeds saved for that area. But I was a little confused about how I wanted to do it. At first I had it in my head that I was just gonna till up everything and scatter seeds, and then I was like, again, that's so silly. The soil is so dry, there's no nutrition, the wind is blowing right at our seeding season, so that wasn't gonna work. Also, the tiller that I'm using is just so hard on me, and rows are way easier than trying to just basically till up, I don't even know how much. So I just decided to do rows. It was also a lot more work than I thought it would be raking those wood chips away that I put down last year in an attempt to keep the soil moist, which they did. when I was raking them back, I was pleasantly surprised by how much the bottom layer had broken down. But honestly, I don't spray water over there willy-nilly to try and help break down those wood chips. And that would be a complete waste of water if that was the only reason I was watering that area. So the wood chips didn't work like I assumed they were gonna work. So this year I'm going to do a cover crop of legumes and hopefully get a harvest out of them. I am not going to amend this soil very much. I'm not gonna bring in bags or, you know, put a whole bunch of, you know what I might do is I might get a load of compost from my local nursery that makes their own horse manure compost. I've used it in the past. It's not terrible. It's a little nitrogen heavy, so I have to be aware of that, and you don't really want nitrogen rich soil for legumes. But it's the cheapest way I have of slightly amending that soil without putting too much money into it. And then at the end of the season, when the beans are done, I'm just gonna leave the roots in, chop off the tops, and let the tops be a mulch. Or put them in the compost pile. I don't know yet. We're not there yet. But that's my rough plan for now. Well, that's going to be my plan because I've already tilled it and put the wood chips back, so I'm not doing something different. But yeah, so that's what I did this morning. And I am just really putting off filling that second garden bed. Ooh, had to get a jacket because I'm about to flip the compost. So I've kind of run out of organic materials besides wood chips, which take too long to break down, to be building my compost enough this winter. I mean, I have the odd weed here and there, but otherwise nothing's growing. The leaf matter that I usually get, I mean, of course I could use the leaves I find on the side of the road. Ooh. But I like using those as mulch. They've worked really well for me as garden mulch in the past years. So, unless I find someone who has bags of leaves they want to give me. But then the issue would be finding nitrogenous materials, green materials. So while this would normally be enough compost for the beds I had before the expansion, I no longer have enough to fill both the in-ground garden and the raised bed garden. So with the compost that I've been making for this past winter and a little bit of last summer, I'm just going to concentrate on getting this to a finished compost level, since as you can see now it's still pretty rough. I still add kitchen scraps and chicken manure and stuff like that regularly, but right now my focus is on getting this as composted as possible so it's not so rough going into the new beds in spring. I don't think there will be a problem with it completely composting before spring because it's going to get pretty hot quickly here and the daytime temperatures will be high enough for this to really get some heat. I also think I'm going to buy a black tarp from Harbor Freight or something, just because this blue one I've got has so many holes in it already. I'm not sure it's doing much to retain warmth. And here's the finished pile. I just consolidated everything into one and had a little bit left over. Well, the wind is worse, guys. Alright guys, it's later in the day. Done some pruning, some weeding, lots of raking, and now I'm watering. This poor cottonwood. And I'm using the harvested rainwater because I need to get rid of it. It's pink and weird. And now I've gotten it stuck in my head that there's some sort of deadly algae or bacteria growing, and it's freaking me out. Alright, and when I googled it, I couldn't find anything about red algae in rainwater harvesting catchment systems. Whatever. I don't think it's from the IBC toad itself because it didn't turn red like that this whole last summer when I was using it. I mean, I was also using it regularly, but if it were to have been rinsed out, it would have been then. So it's some sort of growth. But I put on gloves and I'm just gonna dump it on a tree. Just so it doesn't come in contact with any consumable food or animals. But I need to paint those black. Alright guys, well, I've been out here for about 4 hours. And I'm gonna go inside. Thank you for joining me. Till the next one.